Well, good morning and welcome to another assembly. It's great to see you. I figured you're probably getting sick of seeing me, so I'm going to pass it on to someone much more important than I.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another assembly. It is Thursday, May 14. We have another exciting lineup for you today. But before we start, I'm going to give it over to Mrs. Sherman for devotions. Bye.
Whew, that's a Goldie of an oldie. They'll know us by their love. This is an old song from way back when. Good morning, everybody. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. This is Patty Sherman, and I have the privilege of leading today. That song, while I was on the treadmill, is called "They Will Know We Are Christians by Our Love." Probably a really old song, but this one was performed by King and Country, I believe. It used to be back, I think, in a book called the Alleluia book. And while I was on the treadmill, I was thinking about this song. And I'm here in our basement. It's a bit of a storage room quite often. And I look around and sometimes I think that people know me by the things I keep. And my husband will say that I keep a ton of things, and he's probably right. We have a ton of things here, and yeah, I've been known to keep too many things from the past. But we might need them one day. For example, we might need a brontosaurus, just like that dinosaur poster. We might need more fitness machines. So I like to keep them. We might need the Bobbsey twins one day. Yep. Or when I get to teach French one day again. This book came hot off the press decades ago. And if I take a look at my files, I have a piece of paper here from second year university, anatomy and kinesiology with Professor Brown. So in case I want to know what I was learning back then. And if I teach phys ed, I know how the heart works because I have it on a transparency. Yep, just in case I need it. So yeah, I'm known for keeping things probably longer than I should. Don't always want to get rid of them. Oh, one more thing I gotta show you. These used to fit somebody. We used to play a lot of hockey here. And these are the hockey pads. Yep, right here in this basement. I don't know why I kept them, but I do. Anyways, being known for keeping things is probably part of who I am. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about faith. We talked about hope. We talked about, don't stop believing. But faith also has another part to it, and that's works. How are we working? How are we working out our faith? How are we acting so that people know that we are Christians and that they can see the actions that we do? There is a passage in James. So I'm just going to read that. This is from the New Living Translation. In James 2. It says, "Faith without good deeds is dead." Dear brothers and sisters, what's the use of saying you have faith if you don't prove it by your actions? That kind of faith can't save anyone. Suppose you see a brother or sister who needs food or clothing, and you say, "Well, goodbye, and God bless you. Stay warm, eat well." But then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do? So you see, it isn't enough just to have faith. Faith doesn't show itself by good deeds. It is no faith at all. It is dead and useless. So that's in James. Quite often, the opportunity to help people, especially during this time of COVID, might be even just a smile, might be just from a distance, helping somebody with their groceries and dropping that off perhaps at the curbside. Or it might be just, working and doing your homework as best as you can. It might be calling somebody up. There are all kinds of things that our actions will hopefully show others that we are acting out of love and serving a risen Savior. But we don't do this by ourselves. We are part of a church. We are part of a community. We're part of the global church. And so across the world, there are all kinds of people helping, and there are a whole world of people, of Christians who desire COVID to be gone, and praying for that, right? So there's real strength in knowing that we are part of a larger church and part of a community. Just a quick commercial break. There is something called the All Ontario Youth Convention that typically meets this long weekend, and I've been part of that planning in the past, but just want to let you know, there goes my treadmill. I just want to let you know that there is a free digital event on May 16, which is the Saturday at 7 p.m. And you can tap into this service, and you, I think, would be reminded that you're part of a larger church, and that together we are Christians serving our God in a broader way than we probably sometimes forget that. But that's www.allontario.com, allontario.com. on the 16th. But being part of a community, a church, and knowing that you are serving is a really important thing to remember. There's one more passage, and I'm going to read that from Hebrews. And Hebrews 10 says this. I believe it's 23 here. Without wavering, let us hold tightly to the hope we have. For God can be trusted to keep his promise. Think of ways to encourage one another to outbursts of love and good deeds. And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage and warn each other, especially now that the day of his coming back is drawing near. So be motivated to serve him, our God, who is mighty, who loves you, who is sovereign and good. Don't give up meeting together, but also recognize that your deeds make a difference in what you do, what you say, and how you act. These are all really important parts to believing, faith and works. I guess I just want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. What or who is your motivation? And will people know the church by their love? Will the church know you? Will the church know me? Will the world know us by our love? Have a great day.
Well, thank you for your devotion, Mrs. Sherman. If you would like to do a devotion, please email Mr. Dykeshorn. We'd love to hear from you. Now, for those of you who started with Mrs. T yesterday and want to finish that project, it's off to her for Art Attack Part 2.
Art Attack. I'm going to start with color. I'm using acrylic inks. I usually forget to shake them, but I'm remembering this time. So if you are painting, but hey, you can use anything, markers, you can use pencil crayons, but if you are painting, sometimes it's useful to just paint an area with water first and then drop the color in. With color, you want to create visual pathways so that the observer can move visually across your creative space. There needs to be some kind of visual connectivity going on there. So I'm just going to play with that. So here I'm not adding water first, but I will be putting wet on wet. So my yellow has sort of entered the composition here, turned here, done a somersault, and gone back out there. So to the yellow, I'm going to add a contrasting color. So now I'm going to go to dark. I like working with dark, light, dark, light. I just find that it keeps the composition clearer. It's less muddy. So here, I don't even know what this color is called. It's kind of a dark turquoise. So I'm not even going to clean my brush because we'll see why. So I'm hoping this is still wet. Yay. And don't even force yourself to stay in the lines. After all, this is scribble art. And add a bit of water to that. Move it around. As long as the paint is wet, you're invited to play with it. So I'm going to play with yellow and this turquoise with a nice dirty brush. And if you look at my palette, it actually sometimes palettes are more beautiful than the actual painting. But look at that, just swimming across there, and look at how that dark is going on the edge there. So that's going to be my inspiration. I'm going to try to use that in my painting. So I'm going to leave you now and just work with this for a few minutes, and then I'll be right back. Well, I think the music has gotten the better of me, because what I originally planned was pretty clean and tight and had a lot of sort of white spaces, clean, white, crisp edges. Whereas if you look at this, you can see I've taken, my hands are getting dirty, I've taken this little tool that I got from Mr. Vreeling for cleaning tablet screens, and I find it to be an amazing painting tool. So because I'm a painter, I'm not a graphic designer, I immediately want my work to be painterly, so I'm in the process of pulling color to the edges, working with darks and lights, more fluidity, and letting things bleed into one another while they're wet, seeing what happens. So I've turned into kind of a mad scientist as opposed to somebody who follows a tight recipe. Both are good, as long as you're having fun. I'm going to dry this now with a hair dryer and take it to a final step, and hopefully I won't go crazy. See, hey again. As I was working, I was thinking about my older sister, who said to me, "June, what do you want to do when you grow up?" I said, I want to be an art teacher. So she said, "Well, you've got to do some things. You've got to behave, you got to work hard in school, and keep your mind on your goal." So she's a person who knows her goal and knows how to get there. She's a graphic artist. She's amazing. So the last step in this assignment, or this experiment, is to play with words. So I put "we can hope" and try to integrate the words with the design. But this one is more like me. I don't always know where I'm going. And I like saying, well, what if I just kind of made a mess over there and just let things kind of, and then got the hair dryer and blew it on it, and what would happen if I didn't let it dry, but I just started adding another color? Or what if I did let it dry and added more line? And what am I going to say? Well, you know, it's Mother's Day, and I'm not with my kids or my grandkids, and I'm just here, just waiting. And so that's what I wrote there, just waiting. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Mrs. T. Have a great long weekend, everybody. You've got this. Keep fighting, keep digging in. You can do this. Have a great long weekend.
You ready, Benny? Yay!
Sit down. Turn around.
Well, thank you all for those. We, like Marg said, hope you have a wonderful long weekend. Just a reminder that tomorrow morning there will be a short assembly where there's some announcements that happen, and also hopefully a update on the building from Mrs. Fernhout. So check it out tomorrow, and we'll see the rest of you on Tuesday. See ya.